JSA TV, your virtual newsroom for telecom professionals. I'm Jamie Scotto-Kataya, and on behalf of my team here at JSA, welcome to our very first virtual CEO Roundtable of the new year. And just like we've done all 2015, we are bringing together top industry experts, talking about the trending topics important to our industry in our monthly virtual Roundtable series. And this all leads us up to our on-site CEO roundtables at our industry networking event, the Telecom Exchange. Next one is June 22nd, downtown New York City, and I hope to see you there. I'm happy to report that this month's roundtable topic, the big growth companies of 2015 and their predictions for 2016, is the most anticipated roundtable to date. We're excited to have over 100 live viewers joining us today. So welcome everyone, and thank you to those who are joining us also on demand. The Roundtable is brought to you on our JSA video platform, which allows our panelists to log in from all over the world, literally from Reykjavik to Los Angeles, in streaming live video feeds, care of our partners, BCS Global. So let's get started. I'm honored to introduce our guest moderator for you today, my friend, Mr. Rob Powell, the founder and editor-in-chief of our industry's top blog, Telecom Ramblings. I can say personally that I kick off each of my workday mornings reading Rob's ramblings and can testify he's one of the best bloggers in our industry writing today. So if you haven't already, go ahead and check out telecomramblings.com. Rob, thanks for being with us today, and please do us the honors of introducing our all-star panelists.
Well, thank you for the introduction. And hello out there to our live audience, and thank you for joining. I am Rob Powell, editor of Telecom Ramblings, and today we're going to be celebrating the companies that had some companies that had a stellar 2015, expanding their business and/or their network throughout the year. 2015 was a very interesting year in the world of internet infrastructure. A lot happened across the sector, but no particular one theme seems to have dominated. We had a lot of blockbuster M&A activity. We had capital expenditures being spent on projects we hadn't seen in a long time, and we felt the growing influence of non-traditional players entering into the network world even more. Today, to help us look into all these, we have three representatives of some of the companies that have made 2015 such a banner year in internet infrastructure. We have Rick Calder, President and CEO of GTT. GTT operates a Tier 1 global network focused on connecting any location in the world to applications in the cloud. We have Bjarni Thorvardarson, CEO of Hibernia Networks, which operates a global network connecting the US, Europe, and Asia, centered around some transatlantic assets. And we have Frank Ray, Director of the Global Network Acquisition Group at Microsoft. Microsoft needs no introduction, of course, but their growing presence in cloud and infrastructure has brought them into our orbit even more than ever before. Welcome, guys. We'll just jump right in. I'll ask each of you a question and hand it off to you individually. Would each of you please tell us briefly about your hallmark year? What have you been up to? Rick, let's start off with you.
Right. Thank you very much, Rob. First, I'll apologize in advance that we're broadcasting from our New York office, which is literally on Broadway. And if there's a traffic horn or a siren outside, you might hear a little bit of that. We'll try to keep it to a minimum. But, you know, as we talked about, Rob, when you and I talked when we did that Spotlight article, we had a great year at GTT. We doubled the size of the business to approaching $500 million in revenue from our exit in 2014. We completed three successful strategic integrations over the past 12 months, one at the very end of 2014, buying a business, UNSI, to add broadband services and capabilities to our portfolio of cloud networking services. We completed the acquisition in April of 2015 of the Megapath managed services business to add a portfolio of managed services to our suite of transport and internet services, including managed router, managed firewall, network-based security services, and payment card industry compliant services for a broad portfolio of retail food service customers. And most recently, we completed in October the acquisition of OneSource Networks, which added a whole voice solution and voice over internet protocol solution for us to our portfolio. So We doubled the size of the employees for the firm. We exited the year with about 550 employees, and we believe we're well positioned for continued sustained growth into 2016 and beyond.
Thank you, Rick. Let's shift over to Bjarni. What has Hibernia Networks been up to this year?
Thanks, Rob. We've been pretty busy. Last year, 2015, was indeed a watershed year for us at Hibernia Networks. We grew our revenue base to an exit rate of $200 million through various organic growth projects. The major thing for us last year was Express, the Project Express. We built and launched the first new transatlantic cable system for 12 years using next generation technology and a pretty awesome innovative path that follows the curvature of the Earth, known as the Great Circle Route. The result is a cable that beats any other transatlantic system in terms of network latency and potential capacity, and which actually got awarded the Subsea Project of the Year and the Best Innovation Project. So very, very proud of that. But that was not the only thing we did, actually. We also opened a new state-of-the-art media operations center facility in Lynn, Massachusetts, which is co-located with one of our submarine cable systems in Lynn, which is just outside Boston. And then within industry standard is actually called a NOC. That new NOC is allowing us to better service our video customers, and in particular the occasional news customers, where we are carrying various news and events such as games from stadiums around the world. But we also launched, in terms of products, new products, we also launched our Etherreach cloud exchange service in partnership with Equinix, which is the first cloud connectivity service offering in the three major regions, North America, Europe, and Asia. The new service platform provides customers with a secure fast connection to multiple clouds from one source. So that was a very important step that we took last year as well. Finally, I'd like to mention, even though to a lesser extent it's still small within our company, it's something that we're very proud of. 2015 was the first true year of operating our CDN platform, which is our own CDN platform, that together with our contribution quality video offering makes us pretty unique in the media and entertainment state. So all in all, awesome year that has strengthened our positioning in the verticals that we focus on, which are the financial vertical, media vertical, and the web centers in particular.
Thanks, Bjarni. And Frank, what has Microsoft been up to this year?
Thank you, Rob, and thank you, Jamie, for the invitation. Happy New Year to everybody, my panelists here, and everybody listening in. 2015 was a really exciting, challenging, and productive year for Microsoft as a whole, and we, as well as our investors, have been extremely happy with the results. Well, we finished the fiscal year with $93.6 billion in revenue, created new revenue sources from our commercial cloud, search, gaming, and hardware segments. And some of the highlights from these segments are, for example, we added over 50,000 small and mid-sized business customers each month with Office 365, and O365 is now deployed in 4 out of 5 of Fortune 500 enterprises. In the commercial cloud segment, our revenues have surpassed the $8 billion mark on an annualized run rate level, and this is driven again by Office 365, Azure, as well as Dynamics CRM Online. In the summertime, we launched Windows 10, and we are now active on 200 million devices globally within the last 6 months. And this has been the fastest uptake of any Windows OS in Microsoft's history. And we are about a fifth of our way now towards our goal of reaching 1 billion devices by 2017. And with Windows 10, we've also seen a lot of integration with Bing, as well as Cortana, our personal assistant. And this has allowed us to have a really excellent year with Bing and search, where we've now exceeded the 20% mark of market share and also turned a profit with Bing. So we're very excited about that. 2015 was also Xbox's best year ever. We released or made playable over 350 games and saw our Xbox Live user base reach 37 million. Just to name a couple of highlights for a very excellent year for Xbox. And on the hardware front, we released our Surface 3, a new Surface Pro 4, as well as our first ever laptop Surface Book. So it was a very, very exciting year, very busy year for Microsoft, and we're all very happy with it. else we've seen.
So what roadblocks and challenges did you encounter during this expansion? And do you have any words of advice for how to overcome such challenges in 2016? Rick?
Well, when we think about our business, I mean, probably as Jamie said to you, Rob, I start my day as well reading your blog. But the second email I look at every day is yesterday's results. What did we sell? What did we install? We, like many in the telecom industry, have a business that is basically all recurring revenue stream. So we have 90+% of our business is recurring. So we watch very carefully the results each and every day, each and every week, and each and every month. And we're pleased to see the continued growth of our business in the net installations of revenue. We look very carefully at churn, which over the almost 9 years I've been here continues to come down on a month-over-month basis. But that is one of the keys to our success, really satisfying our clients and making sure that we continue to invest in the tools, the people, the systems to basically keep and retain and grow our client base. So it is several initiatives we're doing this year to continue to focus on that. And I'd say we win because we are different. We try to imbue cultural values across organization, what we call simplicity, speed, and agility, be easy to do business with, be fast and responsive, and have a culture of striving to say yes to our clients. And we think we have a team of people that are committed to doing that and beating, as I like to say, the incumbent telco monopolies, many of whom are to be rumored in your blogs and others to be thinking about exiting the enterprise wireline business. So we think we have a unique position to be able to continue to take share in our market and satisfy our clients as we continue to grow.
Great. Bjarni, what roadblocks did Hibernia encounter in Project Express and the other things you've been working on this year?
Well, as you can imagine, when you think about a project like that, and when you think about any project or any opportunity you could pursue, you think about whether you should do it organically or inorganically. In the past, we have made some inorganic growth and acquisitions, but Project Express is an example of an organic initiative, organic growth initiatives. And that by itself has many challenges and roadblocks. Securing in terms of challenges, securing internal buying, and that includes staff, your fellow managers, board approval, raising the capital to fund the project. That certainly was a marathon run when it comes to Project Express. And one of the things that you have to do in such a marathon run is to keep the enthusiasm of everybody during the whole run. It's not a sprint. You have to plan for it, and it was a 4.5 or 5 year marathon in our case. So that was a big part of the fun, to keep the enthusiasm as well as the customers and the vendors. And for a project this size and this tenure, that is one of the major challenges. But to name a few of the technical challenges for that kind of a project, it is when you're following the Great Circle or the curvature of Europe, which is the direct straight line between any two markets, of London and New York, were the markets that you were honing in on. Then you build a straight line, direct cable from hell and deep water, as they might say, between London and New York. And that means staying shallow if you want to stay shallow, if shallow happens to be on the path. And that's what we did. So one of the challenges were that for 2,000 kilometers, we were laying submarine cable in shallow water, which is unheard of in the past. People wanted to go deep as soon as possible. But that means to stay secure, we have to armor the cable for unprecedented distances, and we have to bury it for those 2,000 kilometers. And that we did by finding the state-of-the-art, the latest technology, latest plow, and we surely did that. We plowed the cable up to 3 meters into the ground for over 2,000 kilometers. That's unheard of, and that was how we dealt with that challenge. But we also deal with a lot of permissions. We need permits from regulatory authorities, and that you just have to stay on top of day in, day out. Communication, over communication. So it's about relationship management and communication, really. But there certainly are also things that are out of our control when it comes to projects like this, which is weather days and certain things that there's no way you can impact. You just have to take it as it comes. And it's just good old project management. Project management is just, you have to allow adequate slack in your project to target that. And so we did that. We targeted on our ready for service RFS date that had enough slack in it, and then managed to it. So my word of advice to anyone that is thinking about a project like that is just don't rush in, don't dive in. Get a partner like Frank and plan it properly. And if you believe in the project, you stick with it. Don't let anyone stop you. Just stick with it.
And Frank, what challenges Microsoft encountered this year, and how did you overcome them?
I think, one of the major challenges on our end is simply being on the forefront of the evolution of the cloud market, right? So it's very exciting and challenging at the same time. And I think one of the biggest issues that we've seen, and anybody that's been working with me for the last year or so is probably tired of hearing me talk about this, but the timelines of infrastructure development in our space over the last few years have been getting longer and longer. Bjarni just alluded to the 5-year journey that Hibernia went on for the development of Express. So we see the timelines of development of infrastructure getting longer and longer, while the time to market and release cycles for products, especially in the cloud space, are getting shorter and shorter. So this is obviously a big challenge for us in getting our products and services out to our customers and ensuring a top quality performance and user experience. So in order to try to address this, we've been working very diligently to try to get as much predictability as we can into our overall supply chain, and working to get closer to that underlying infrastructure to better support our services and ensure, as I said, best quality performance for our customers. Another big challenge that we faced is data privacy. Data privacy is obviously a very sensitive topic for individuals and governments alike, and a number of large internet brands have been facing the Snowden effect, just as we have been. And one way we've tried to address this has been through a lot of local partnerships and local deployments, and bringing our services and products as close as possible to our customers in order to address those privacy concerns and regulatory requirements. An example of this is the announcement that we made a few months back, the deployment that we did in Germany to serve the German market from a cloud perspective. So, those are some of the real key challenges that we've been facing, and I think, just in our space, as I mentioned, being on the forefront and trying to develop this type of scale of cloud infrastructure has really been something that's been keeping a lot of people on the Microsoft side very, very busy over the course of this year. And as Rick also alluded to, it's been keeping a lot of other folks that have tried to get to the cloud space over the last few years quite busy as well, to figure out how they're keeping up.
You've all been clearly been very busy this year with your network and business expansions. Let's dig down into what the driving forces are behind it. What's behind this all? Is it consumer demand, new markets, new technologies? What are the drivers to the expansion in 2015? Rick?
Well, GCT, we exist very simply as a better way to reach the cloud. As Frank was discussing, there are big behemoths, massive properties in the cloud, and Microsoft, of course, being one, Google, AWS, etc. What we have found is multinational corporations need to get to those services either through the public internet or through private secure access, need to build even bigger private clouds to connect all their locations together and move their IT applications out of their corporations into folks like Microsoft. We found tremendous demand for cloud networks. So we think we're very well positioned to take advantage of the trend of increasing need for cloud networks as a business that purely exists as a better way to reach the cloud. We think our strategy is the right one. We're very focused on selling an expanding portfolio of cloud networking services to multinational clients. We want to be able to do it to reach any location in the world and connect to and with any application that exists in the cloud. And we, as I said before, want to deliver an outstanding experience by living these values. We talk about simplicity, speed, agility. So we believe we're emerging now as the challenger brand, that GTT as the challenger brand against the incumbent telco monopolies who historically have not focused as much on this business and are in several cases are thinking potentially about exiting it. So we actually think we're very well positioned with the right strategy, focused on being a cloud networking company to actually allow corporations worldwide to take advantage of this trend towards cloud services and cloud computing.
And Bjarni, what have been the drivers that you've been seeing, especially for Project Express and the first new cable in a decade?
As you can imagine, it ultimately starts with the customer. That's the driver behind which network will be built, which products and service offerings will be added to the market, and that's how by observing that's the way you predict where demand is trending. But in general, customers are continuing to seek increased capacity that can scale the bandwidth requirements, as well as seeking continuous improvement on the network latency performance, especially for business-critical applications, especially in an environment where so much is moving and migrating to the cloud. For our own Express cable, as you can imagine, we carefully evaluated and observed the demand and supply conditions in the transatlantic corridor. And our indications were at the time, and still are very much are, that the usage is growing 40% annually. So the demand is growing continues to grow at a phenomenal rate of 40% year after year. And the video content has and continues to drive that growth, of course, but other sources are like machine-to-machine communication, which is growing incredibly rapidly. It's growing over 70% a year, but on back of cloud computing. All the services moving back into the cloud, into the data centers that Frank was talking about in particular. But not only is that driving increased capacity, but it's also driving and becoming more and more latency sensitive traffic. So improved network latency is another key driver behind our expansion. But you might think that there's only a traditional thinking is that there's only one driver behind extreme quest for low latency, that's financial customers, but that's not what we have seen. The low latency, there's a lot of drivers behind the need for low latency. The low latency, the video and the viewing and experience of somebody viewing a video over the internet is certainly impacted by the latency that is used for those circuits. The video and entertainment market, they are falling and screaming for better latency. The financial trading companies, yes, absolutely. They need the fastest route, the shortest circuits between the city pairs, between the exchanges that they're trading. And we honed in on New York City and London as initial markets that we are servicing for traders, and then now going beyond that to Chicago and Frankfurt and beyond. But also e-commerce is reporting that latency is translating directly to the bottom line. Not that long ago, there was actually one e-commerce company that reported and estimated that for every 100 millisecond that reduction in latency that his users or their users, their customers were experiencing, sales revenue increased by 1%. So that was the 2 or 3 elements that we designed Hibernia Express for. One is the increased capacity, the 40% growth, the increased latency, and also is, as I said before, it's the first to be built for 12 years. So the market was also screaming for new route diversity, and that's what Express provided.
Thanks. And Frank, what underlying drivers have you been seeing at Microsoft?
So one of the main drivers has been the expansion of Microsoft services beyond just the Windows platform and into all of the other platforms that we see out there. It's following on our mantra of the mobile first, cloud first world, and our company mission statement of every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. So ensuring the fact, as my other panelists here have said, performance, latency, user experience, these have been the real main drivers of what it is that we need to do as an organization and what we need to do on the infrastructure side to ensure that we get our services as close as possible to our customers and allow them to do what they need to do to be successful every single day. And to that extent, we've been working very hard in developing an industry-leading infrastructure footprint. This includes a global data center footprint and the subsequent network connecting all of that together to support our customer applications. And we're very proud to say that our global compute footprint now is larger than Google and Amazon's combined. So getting all of our services and getting our products out onto all of the platforms has really we've seen a huge drive in user engagement with those products. Our Outlook app now, for example, has about 400 million installations now on a number of different platforms. So we're very excited about that. And so that's been a real key driver, and that user engagement has allowed us to see our traffic on the network double year over year over the course of this last year. And that comes as well from Xbox, as I said, the user engagement there with the downloads and the games and the Xbox Live user engagement, as well as what we've seen on Windows 10. As an example, we saw our customers in December alone spent 11 billion plus hours with Windows 10. So that's really drove a lot of global downloads, updates that we had seen. And ancillary effect with the integration, as I mentioned before, with Bing, we saw a 30% uptick within Windows 10 for our Bing search queries. So getting all of our services more integrated within our own ecosystem as well as others' ecosystems has been a real key driver to the expansion that we've seen. And another point that I'll mention has been, as I said before, the data residency and data sovereignty has been a driver as well in how we evaluate what our infrastructure looks like, where it's going, and with whom we're working with to ensure that we're addressing the needs of our customers and the regulatory bodies alike.
2015 is obviously in the history books now, and we've already begun on 2016. And that means a whole new set of opportunities and challenges. What new opportunities do you see in 2016 and beyond, Rick?
Oh, thanks, Rob. I say we ended 2015 and had achieved our last financial objective of growing our business to 400 million in revenue, and we had actually blown by that to approaching 500 this day. So we set for ourselves and publicly announced to our public shareholders a goal to grow our business to 1 billion in revenue and 250 million in adjusted EBITDA within 5 years. And we think we're very well positioned with our strategies we described to achieve that and to execute it in one of two ways, to see both continued strong organic growth. As I noted, we're continuing to grow the scope and scale of our sales organization globally across the world, both to serve multinational enterprises and big global carriers. We also see the ability to complement our strategy with selective strategic acquisitions. We've been successful in locating and finding acquisitions that complement the GTT strategy as we continue to grow. So we would expect to execute our strategy both organically and through selective acquisition, because as I described, we believe we have emerged now as a true challenger brand. We exist as a better way to reach the cloud, and we have seen our multinational clients embrace that, and our ability to continue to take share against the incumbents we expect to continue apace into 2016. So very excited about the future potential for the business.
Thanks. Bjarni, what opportunities do you see ahead in 2016 for Hibernia?
Well, I think the opportunity for companies like Hibernia or network providers in 2016 and beyond, it stays to those that offer just capacity, as I was talking about previously, but also speed, security, diversity, and service levels. And I would like to think, and I'm proud to say, that these are the attributes that distinguishes us from the more traditional network offering companies in the market. But I think we perceive three key areas of opportunities in 2016. One is the requirement for low latency connectivity reaches far beyond the express offering between London and New York now. And it's on the back of that uniqueness, it's on the back of the 5 millisecond advantage that we have over anyone else offering low latency services transatlantic, London to New York. There we can reach beyond that. We can offer low latency services into Frankfurt, Stockholm, Moscow, beyond that, and on the European side. And on the US side as well, not only New York City, but up to Toronto, up to Chicago, further west all the way to Tokyo. So it's two of the major trading exchanges in the world. Secondly, I would say it is relating to connecting the data centers and clouds with fast and scalable network solutions. That opportunity will continue to increase, and the web-centrics need to connect their data centers throughout the world, and that's certainly an area that we have been focusing on and will continue to focus on in 2016. As video continues to increase as a proportion of the total internet traffic, we also see an opportunity to capture a larger share there. Just started with our video offering business. Our traditional product offering in media business is the contribution quality video, which is the highest demand and best quality video that there is. We've been offering that service for over 7 years now. And now that we have a combined product offering between our IP network, our CDN offering, and the contribution quality video, we see a significant opportunity in capturing a greater share of the fast-growing video market. In general, when I think about the opportunities in 2016 or opportunities in general, it is about understanding your customer needs and capturing the opportunity, seizing the opportunity to address those needs. We actually have in Hibernia's mission statement that our core goal is to solve our customers' problems, identify and solve our problems. And in order to do that, you have to understand those problems, because there's no way you can understand the fundamentals behind them. So we strive and we spend time sitting with our customers, understanding what they aspire to do, understanding what their pain points are, and together with them, coming up with new ways of addressing them. So that's at the heart of our approach in 2015, our approach in 2016 and beyond. And that has served us well, and I look forward to seeing that continue in 2016.
Thanks. And Frank, what new opportunities do you see ahead for Microsoft?
Yeah, let me start by saying I really like your predictions for 2016, Rob. So
I have fun with those.
On the Microsoft side, we're really excited about the uptake and growth that we've seen for our Azure platform, and we have really big plans for 2016 and expect to continue to see impressive usage and growth on that platform with our customers. We have a number of really great titles lined up for Xbox in 2016, and we're also especially very excited about the latest Windows 10 update for Xbox One. So expect to see continued excellent user engagement through Xbox Live and as well with our partners there in the different production studios. Surface Hub together with Skype for Business, we think is going to provide a really attractive collaboration platform for both small and large customers alike. So we're very excited to see about that and see the challenges that come up on the infrastructure side to support that. And then, of course, we have HoloLens, which we believe is really going to promise us to show the world some very exciting applications in a number of different verticals. But in general, I think what I'm thinking of seeing is, a lot of the big data and, data-driven activities that we're going to see in the marketplace. Customers using data to drive their businesses, to find optimizations that they can make, and we think we're well positioned there with our Power BI product. But I think that the data and the impact of data that's going to have on from small businesses to large global multinational corporations. It's only going to continue. And the things that IoT market is really going to start to go more mainstream than it already is, but really drive down to the everyday user. We're seeing that with connected cars. We just announced a couple of interesting partnerships together with Volvo and Nissan in that regard. But you see connected cars, smart homes, a lot of the applications that we're seeing in the industrial space in the IoT market. I think that that's going to be something that should be really, really exciting over the course of 2016. And one of the things that really unites all of those developments together is the network. So I'm really excited about the challenges and opportunities that we have within Microsoft to continue to develop a world-class leading cloud infrastructure for our customers.
Thanks. Thank you, Rick, Bjarni, and Frank, for joining us today. We greatly appreciate the perspectives you've shared with us on 2015 and the year ahead of us. I wish you great luck in those expansions, and all the new projects ahead. And to our audience out there, thank you for watching, and I'll hand it back off to Jamie.
And thank you, Rob, for moderating here on JSA TV and for your daily contributions and analysis on Telecom Ramblings. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. If you want to see this or other previously recorded JSA TV virtual CEO roundtables, or even our on-site Telecom Exchange CEO roundtables, go ahead and check us out on jamiescotto.com. You can also see the calendar of upcoming roundtables happening monthly in 2016. And again, thank you, panelists, for joining us for our very first 2016 JSA TV Virtual CEO Roundtable. Thanks all. Thank you.